and gentlemen, and Twitch chat trolls everywhere. It is game number 3 of our best of 5 series between Trick's army on the blue side this game and Nightblue and his team over on the red or purple side, depends if you're on colorblind mode or not. But Trick's team is in dire straits right now. They are down 0-2 to Nightblue's team, which means they have to make a 3-game win streak comeback in order to advance to the finals. On the opposite side, though, Nightblue's team started off at the bottom of the rankings, 3-0'd Cutie Pie's team last night, technically, and now has going forward trying to 3-0 Trick2g's team. Both these teams are looking forward to facing Voyboy and his Voice Scouts in the finals. We'll have to see what adaptations take place here in the picks and bans of game number 3, Sifa.
Well, you know, the first sign that Trick2g is behind is that a Zingy is getting Champ banned away from him as a support player. So Vel'Koz banned away from Zingy, not too surprising. Zingy clearly very comfortable on that. Clearly the least experienced member on the team in his specific role. So perhaps shutting him down and making him vulnerable could give the team a bit of an advantage here. You see the Rek'Sai banned away as well. No one wants that one to go through. Nidalee banned away from RF Legendary. Veigar banned away from Strompus. I'm actually surprised that we see Veigar consistently banned away from Strompus. Strompus is kind of back and forth on that champion, you know. Some games, admittedly, he does carry, but some, when he gets caught out early especially, he tends to just not have the impact that you really expect from a mid laner. Gnar, the last banned here, no one wants that to go to RF Legendary, a character he's only gotten to play once in this tournament, I believe, and has just done so much work on that, but there's still a lot of powerful picks available. Jarvan available, Draven available for Fabi, or would have been available for Fabi if it was not picked up for Zerbic. Curious to see if Zerbic can actually play this, or if this is just the last minute bit of panic as they realize that Fabi may have been able to play his favorite champion.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised. The Rek'Sai ban from the side of Trick's team, despite them having first pick in this circumstance, that leaves the 2 target bans of Veigar and Nidalee available for Nightblue's team to ban out, and then the Gnar as the last pick. So maybe thinking that they banned the Rek'Sai, that Nightblue's team would have banned something else, but they wound up banning out the Gnar, which leaves them down top laners in RF Legendary's kind of inventory of picks that he can be very comfortable on. Not only that, but they're so focused on taking away these kind of like I'm not going to say one trick pony because Fabi can play a lot of different champions, but like these well-known champions on these players, basically champion pools, that they first pick the Draven and leave open a Jarvan pickup, which was very powerful for them, the Solo King last game, and can also go in the jungle for Nightblue. And Lysandre, who's kind of been a very powerful pick throughout the OMEN encounter. Didn't work out for RF Legendary last game, but it definitely worked out for Golden Glue in game number 1.
Well, one of the big things to consider as we move forward is, you know, what is Trick's strategy as they approach in this game? Definitely one of the things we've seen is that, as you said earlier, they do have a little bit too much of a focus on target bans. But then again, so does Nightblue's team, the Veigar and the Nidalee banned away. And then on the opposite side, of course, the Vel'Koz and the Azir. So lots of target bans from both teams, you know, kind of the consistent thing we've seen in this tournament. And now it looks like, once again, we may see Zen the Solo King in the top lane with that Jarvan pick. Of course, RF Legendary may be able to play Riven in this game as well. Definitely one of his more played champions. Definitely something he's comfortable with. And really curious to see exactly how his team comp is shaping up. The Annie consistently hovered over in this pick ban. Wonder if it'll actually get locked in. And then the other big question is, what the heck is a Zingy gonna play?
Yeah, that's actually a big kind of question mark coming out here. I mean, the support pickup is still completely left wide open. Maybe support Karthus. If Zingy has to play something, he's very, very flexible on that Karthus pickup. He's played it in a duo bottom lane situation before. We'll have to see if that's something he winds up falls back into, but it looks like it is going to wind up being that Annie pickup coming out here for the side of Trick's team. He's also going for that jungle Jax. So the Udyr was left on the table, decides not to go for it in this last game here, picks up a jungle Jax. The Riven in the top lane is going to be very, very annoying for the side of, Nightblue's team, as RF Legendary is very comfortable on that one. But between the Riven scaling into the later stages of the game, as well as a Jax is just a ticking time bomb of pain, Trick's team does have some life in the later stages of the game, but then it's really all about, can they survive that long? They have Annie and they have Draven, who can kind of be a little bit snowbally.
Wait,
but...
Tom.
Yeah?
There's a Rengar support.
Oh. That's a support Rengar. That's not Karthus.
I just want to laugh. Rengar support is what I like to play when my friends make me play support, and I don't really want to do anything other than get kills. I wonder if a Zingy is coming into this game with the same mentality, or if this is like the secret strat to bring it together. If this is the one that Nightblue's team was saving. They've got all this mobility, they've got all this hard engage, and literally every single champion, including the support, is ready to do this. Maybe this is their ace in the hole, or maybe a Zingy just really can't play support. I'm interested to find out.
Well, Rengar in the bottom lane is going to be really interesting to see because with all those brushes down there, he's going to be able to get a lot of harassment down. And if he does wind up landing a bola to lock somebody down in the bottom lane, Graves is going to have a field day with dashing in, getting auto attacks off, full buckshot off in the face of either Draven or Janna. It's going to be a lot of damage coming down there. But then the big problem is now you're going from someone like Vel'Koz who's able to spam damage from a very safe distance to a Rengar who literally has to leap in his opponent's face in order to get a lot of that DPS down. You also have a Janna who can knock him back with the tornado, being able to peel him back from that. Draven can knock him away as well with Draven's E, throw the axes out and push him away. So there's a little bit more difficulty in securing that damage, whereas before it was just like, hey, can Vel'Koz land the skill shot? Okay, cool. Rengar also going to be a little bit squishy in the early stages of the game, I'd have to say. We'll have to see where Zingy really winds up taking this build. Does he go for something like a Relic Shield and the Targons, or does he just wind up going like full Ryan Troy and builds Doran's Blades and hopes to get kills? I mean, it's a big question mark because we're not used to seeing support Rengar at all.
Yeah, well, the big question, or the big strength of Nightblue's comp, I think, as a whole, is that they do have this Lee Sin jungle, which is obviously, as we mentioned before, very strong in the early game, and every single one of these lanes is incredibly easy to gank. That Rengar Ferocity Bola, of course, locking them down, making it easy to land that Sonic Wave, the Jarvan Flag and Drag combo, plenty of lockdown, and then, of course, Lissandra with her whole cadre of CC is just going to do so much work.
Well, we're going to have to see here. If that Rengar is going to be going for a Sightstone as well, then we'll have some Vision Wars. If not, it's really going to be overtime for this Lee Sin pickup from Nightblue here. In addition to this, normally they've been going with the support Vel'Koz and kind of had a dual AP threat, despite Zen the Solo King picking up Jarvan in the top lane last game and going for a more tanky Nara pickup in the game number 1. So without having that dedicated tank on their side, without having as much mixed damage, there's a lot of physical damage coming out from this side of Nightblue. But on the flip side, we still have Trick2g and his team, not necessarily having a dedicated tank. He has the Jax who's going to want to go for Trinity Force and then maybe a Randuin's Omen, but really does want to go for that Blade of the Rune King. Riven, who won't be building a lot of resistances as much more as damage to kind of translate into shield coming out from Valor. But there is a lot of raw DPS and a bit more of a team fight element now with the AoE damage and just the Draven cleanup potential coming out from Trick2g's team. We'll have to see if it really winds up being a big factor in this game number 3. It's do or die for Trick's team, and Nightblue's team looking to close out the series 3-0 in this best of 5 here at the OMEN Encounter semifinals. Quick commercial break, and then we'll be right on to the rift for game number 3, guys. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Summoners and Summonettes. It's here at the OMEN Encounter game number 3, where things really start to heat up here. It is going to be Nightblue's team on the red side this time around. I got confused for myself. And Trick and his army over on the blue side. We see some early level 1 shenanigans from Trick's team in most of these games. We'll have to see if it winds up being the same exact thing here. Is actually putting a ward down in their own blue buff area. Might be looking to try to catch out a solo king, trying to put a deep ward in himself. Nightblue's team, they're lined up at the river line of scrimmage. They know this kind of happened before. Trick is going to get a stun on him with the counter strike, a flash as well. Then the solo king taken down low. And it's first blood assist for everybody and a kill for RF Legendary.
Well, that's going to be rough. You definitely don't want to give Riven an early kill, and you definitely need to get ahead when your team has a Rengar support on it in the early game, so giving an early assist to that Draven is going to be dangerous for the team as a whole. And the big thing I want to talk about is this bot lane, not just because there's a Rengar support, but because there is also a Draven. Draven, of course, in these early hyper-aggressive skirmishes that are sure to come out with a Rengar support, you know, if he ever gets a kill and gets ahead, suddenly Rengar becomes pretty useless.
Yep, that's kind of true. The Rengar support, we'll have to see if it really makes an impact at all. It has started for the Relic Shield, trying to help out, be a little bit more of a real support rather than going for more of a Doran start strategy, just going for kind of a kill lane in that bottom lane. But all across the board, there are item advantages. Starting off at level 1 for Trick's team here. Double longsword as well as 4 health potions for RF Legendary in the top lane. Nightblue has had a lot of focus on his mid and bottom lanes throughout all of these games in this best of 5 series. We'll have to see, is he going to be able to provide a lot of relief for Zen the Solo King in top lane this time around, though, because he's starting off at such a huge disadvantage.
Well, being down a longsword won't be the end of the world. You can see Zen the Solo King more than happy to try to trade here. The big question is going to be, how is level 3 going to go? Never mind, level 1 appears to be going even, actually, as Zen the Solo King is able to proc that passive there. So much damage coming out from both these characters, and RF Legendary maybe taking a little bit too much creep damage in that exchange.
Not only that, but even though he's been taking a little bit more damage from the trade, RF Legendary has an extra health potion over Zen the Solo King. He has the extra experience bonus, so he gets that level 2 earlier than Zen the Solo King, so he can try to start bullying him out more. Zen the Solo King hasn't really gotten any farm whatsoever because he's too afraid of this RF Legendary Riven, who's already level 2 and already has basically healed back up after that trade. So now it's 3 health potions compared to 2, experience advantages towards Riven. It's going to be a lot of pressure here. 10 CS compared to 7, trying to farm underneath the tower. Many small advantages that will add up. And Nightblue, he's really going to have to respond here. He is kind of going in towards the river area. Might be making his way towards top lane here. Golden Gloomima on the mid lane, taking a lot of damage here. I guess Strumpus Fire melting through the ice of Lissandra in these early levels here. So Nightblue going up towards top lane is going to get spotted out by a ward, though. Decides it might just be time to recall. Bottom lane, meantime, though, we see Trick coming in for a gank. Flash away from Azingi after the counter strike and the leap strike go down. So looks like nothing going to really come over there, but it is a burn summoner for this support Rengar.
Support Rengar, of course, with no escape options, and without that Ferocity Bulla, not any CC either. So this tough lane progressively getting tougher as the game moves forward. Really curious to see exactly how this lane will move as they get approach level 6. Obviously, both these characters have a lot of burst, Draven having a little bit more sustained damage. But, you know, if Draven can get that kill, if he can get that huge gold spike, how is this mid game going to fare? Obviously, Nightblue's team once again focused on these team fights. Trick2g's team a little bit more versatile. You know, they can split push with that Jax pick, with that Riven pick, or they can kind of all in. They do have that Annie for hard engage and that Janna for disengage, so more versatility from Trick2g's team, but maybe a little less power if they can't keep up this early game advantage.
Well, the early game advantage, speaking of that from top lane, we saw Nightblue sitting in the brush, recalling. There was a ward there for RF Legendary. He played so safe and so far back that he gave up so much CS. He tried to shove the wave into the tower and reset, but didn't wind up working out. He's very far behind now. Now in the bottom lane, Nightblue just goes in for his blue buff, gets a gank off in bottom lane here. Fabi's able to pick up kill on 9JX. Zerbic getting zoned away by Nightblue, while Zingy and Fabi are able to pick up a kill on the support in the backside here. Once again, Nightblue doing work. One of them, he didn't really even do much in top lane, but now he comes back to that bottom lane and picks up another kill for his duo lane.
Yeah, perhaps 9JX and Zerbic playing a little bit too forward in this situation. They know, obviously, in the 2v2 that they have a sizable advantage how easy it is to keep Rengar off of Draven, but when, you know, Nightblue comes in there with that Chilling Smite and with, of course, just Lee Sin's kit in general, is going to be able to do so much work, and Rengar goes from being, you know, easy to kite and easy to peel to a secondary peel target, meaning he will be on top of your AD carry in an instant.
And now we see RF Legendary in this top lane. He's at the experience disadvantage here. Tries to go on to Zen the Solo King. Then the Solo King trying to ward out right here. Is going to find Trick2g. Does get the flag and drag off before the stun goes down, though. Chilling Smite was used, but he is going to be able to get out of the way. That is Jarvan here. Did want to going back, picking up triple longsword after a little bit of confrontation in the top lane as well. But RF Legendary now feeling good about this engagement. Does wind up missing one more quick strike there from the Q on Riven. However, is going to get Zen the Solo King down extremely low and force him back. The ward in the river spots Trick2g over there, now providing a little bit of breathing room for RF Legendary. Top lane kind of going back and forth in this matchup.
And without Flash here, Zen the Solo King has to play very careful. Obviously, Riven quickly approaching that level 6. RF Legendary going to hard engage when he can, and that level 6 from Riven just so very powerful. You saw Trick2g putting pressure on the top lane. Good on him to get that Flash. Let's see if he repeats and ganks that lane again. The Jax pick working a lot better for him this game than the Udyr pick ever did. Obviously, that leap coming in pretty darn handy. And when he also has that stun to follow up, the chain CC between Jax and Riven means that it's going to be very easy to pull these ganks off. You can also see Strumpus on this Annie pick. Annie, not a character we see a whole ton of, but once again, Jax able to follow up on anything Annie lands. Annie going to be able to blow her full combo and get the maximum amount of damage from Tibbers if Jax is there to keep the target locked down.
Another really big thing to point out with Trick in this Jax pickup is the fact that he's just ganking lanes now. It might be because they picked up the first blood and he has a little bit of extra gold from that early assist, or it might just be the fact that on this Jax pickup he has something that's easier to gap close. The leap and the stun coming in going to be very effective. However, now it's Golden Blue and Nightblue that go in here. They get the frozen gem, the Strumpets, the flash coming in, the flash away. Strumpets actually wants it going down there from an ignite. Send the Solo King over the wall at the flag and drag as well just to help secure that kill. A Zingy came up from the bottom lane as well, and it looks like it might be Nightblue's team going for another early dragon.
The map movement from Nightblue's team as a whole is just so good. 4 members collapsing down in that mid lane. Golden Glue ulting what would appear to be early, but with that Lee Sin follow-up, ended up working out excellently. Zen the Solo King coming over the wall, not necessary for that fight, but now they're going to be able to transition this into a quick and easy dragon. One of the advantages, of course, of having that Rengar support is that he does have a little bit of innate tankiness just from that ferocity W. And good on the team overall, using this very strong kind of bruiser-focused composition to bully out and create a lot of pressure in this mid lane. You see Annie now immediately going for that needlessly large rod. Most likely, I would guess, is going to go into that Deathfire Grasp, but they do want to shut down some of these high damage dealers. They may want to punish Zen the Solo King for his full AD itemization, or at least the itemization that he took last game. Triple Longsword might indicate that he's doing it again. Overall, team as a whole made an excellent play. Now 1-0 for Golden Glue in the mid lane, and we saw exactly how much work he can do when he has an advantage.
One of the big things, too, is with Zen the Solo King coming out into that mid lane, you might not think that was entirely necessary for just to pull off the gank in there. Strombless wound up going down. Basically, the flag was all that he needed to get an assist in from that one. Didn't really deal all too much damage or lock Annie down. But the big thing is the movement from Nightblue's team. Zen the Solo King, every single one of these 3 games has roamed down from top lane and has been able to pick up a kill or something in mid lane and then transition it into a dragon. He has his teleport back up, so even the RF legendary, very, very mobile champion Riven did not follow his lane back down, tried to get something by pushing his lane to the tower. The teleport was still available for Zen the Solo King to go right back up top before Riven even got the creeps towards hitting that tower. So they get a kill, they get an objective, and they defend and lose basically nothing for it here. The movement from specifically Zen the Solo King, let alone all of Nightblue's team, has just been, well, I hate to sound like it's a Korean broadcast or something, they've been out-rotating Trick's team.
Out-rotating. Well, it's very true, you know, despite the fact that Monty is claimed to have created that phrase. It's one that's been around for a long time, and that's true. It's an accurate description. You know, Zen the Solo King consistently having better map movement. You can see RF Legendary always looking very strong in those dueling situations, looking very good as he goes in on Zen the Solo King there, but it's not about solo doing 1v1. You know, the advantages he gets in lane aren't going to be as meaningful if Zen the Solo King keeps creating pressure elsewhere on the map. Nightblue now moving in. They do have to be careful here. A level 7 Annie and a level 7 Riven means death to whoever gets stunned here.
Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, though, Zingy and Fabi are just wailing away on this tower. So far, I don't know if it's just the fact that Zerbic is on Draven this game, or if it's the fact that support Rengar and those early ganks are coming into the bottom lane. They're pushing down here. Nightblue in the meantime comes in for a gank top lane. Arf Legendary goes down, as does Strumpus. It was a 3v2 in that situation, with the jungler showing up and 2 more kills going over to Nightblue's team. Both the solo lanes for Trick's team are definitely struggling in this one. They both go down in that circumstance, which means that there's no pressure on the map for Trick to do anything.
Yeah, and Trick's in a hard spot here because despite the fact that his Zingy on this Rengar support isn't having too much of an impact, Fabi is more than comfortable just farming up in this lane. Draven still does not have a kill, rushes that early Brutalizer, perhaps trying to create a little bit of an early game advantage here, but without a kill in the early game, not going to be able to do too much as we transition in this mid game. Graves just going to have a lot more upfront bursts. Hopefully in the late game, Zerbic will be able to get the AD necessary to carry his team, but at this stage in the game, Fabi already far ahead in the itemization category. Well, maybe a little behind now, but will be farther ahead as he has a much better build path.
Well, right now, Draven has gone for the Brutalizer and the Ghostblade, both AD carries with some money in the bank, about 300 more in the pockets of Graves. However, though, it's not necessarily represented in the items he has holding onto currently. A pickaxe and a longsword for Graves, as well as that Doran's Blade. A Doran's Blade and the Brutalizer for Draven means it's a little bit more damage on Draven. Going to be penetrating some of the armor and the stats that they have in the bottom lane so far. But top lane, actually, Nightblue's getting caught out right here. RF Legendary is able to pick up a kill with the Wind Slash right there. Going on to Zen the Solo King, has to flag and drag away from that one. Bottom lane, we saw Zerbic looking to go in on a Zingy and Fabi down here, but not enough to kind of catch out the trade over there. It's a 1 for none in the top lane here. Trick's team is the second kill of the game. Oh, never mind. Zingy goes in. The collateral damage comes out as well. Monsoon, though, knocking Zingy into the tower here. The ultimate goes off from Zerbic as well. Zingy ticking down is not going to fall to that ignite. Barely getting out of that one. Fabi was taking Zerbic extremely low in that trade as well, but not as low as that support Rengar.
Yeah, support Rengar trying to burn his ultimate there. Unfortunately, isn't able to stealth, and so is not able to break stealth to get that Ferocity back. Gets away with the sliver of health, immediately using that empowered battle roar when available. Now looks like Zen Soul King may go down to RF Legendary, but Nightblue is here to follow up. RF Legendary will go down in that situation. Trick2g now running for his life.
Double stuns, not quite enough when there's that much damage coming out of a Jarvan and a Lee Sin combination. Now Golden Glue coming up as well. Trick2g does want to getting hit out here by this kick from Nightblue, but it's a killing spree going over to Golden Glue. The Frozen Tomb seals Trick's fate. It's now 6 kills to 2. After that top lane skirmish wound up going horribly wrong, resulting in 2 additional deaths for Trick's team.
I love how that Lissandra animation rises up to meet Jax as he jumps. You know, it's not a fixed height. Like, whatever height the champion is, the ice will rise that high. So as Trick2g jumped through the air, trying desperately to escape or maybe get a little bit more damage, he was just impaled by that giant ice spike. Fantastic. I love Lissandra as a character, and that was just another excellent piece of map movement from the team as a whole.
That's just cold. That you just love seeing ice pierce through another champion like that.
Oh, man.
That's just cold, man.
That's
Meanwhile,
just...
on the bottom side of the map, Scuttlecrab's going to wind up going over to the side of Nightblue, and Zingy, they're going to wind up giving Zingy that kill, actually, right there. So getting some vision and a little bit of a speed shrine down. That's going to be available just long enough for that dragon to respawn in about the next minute and 15 seconds. And while they're around the area, they say, hey, let's pay a visit to our friends in the bottom lane. Zerbic and 9JX, we haven't seen them for a while, but Strompus is there as well. Meanwhile, top lane, RF Legendary is going to get sandwiched by the enemy solo laners over here. Nightblue going into 9JX with a good Drona Tornado, knocks him up here. Strompus comes in, is able to get this last Q off there, the Disintegrate, evaporating Nightblue in that situation. So cross-map trades 1-for-1, but Trick's team here, and a full force of 4 remaining alive, is going to be pushing down to this bottom tier 1 tower, and it looks like they're going to get it.
Yeah, hopefully Zen the Soul King will be able to get a tower back for Nightblue's team. Balances out a little bit, but a little bit of an oversight from Nightblue's team as a whole, committing far too many resources to the top lane to kill RF Legendary. And as a result, not having enough to respond down in the bot lane. Nightblue playing a little bit too far forward, and you can see Nightblue's team not quite having the same level of vision control on the bottom side of the map that they have had in the past few games. Maybe a little bit too confident in these situations, or maybe Fabi and Zingy a little bit too far behind or disadvantaged from that Rengar support pick to create the vision necessary. You can see that Zingy still does not have a Sightstone in this situation, so definitely not having the impact that he would like to at this stage of the game.
Well, top side of the map, cross map from where Zingy resides in the bot lane, we saw Zen the Solo King able to push down a tower using the Jarvan Fly to give him a little bit of increased attack speed and then drag away from Riven as he came up to try to defend the tower. Meanwhile, it does look like Nightblue's team, second dragon of the game, is live. They had that Scuttle Crab earlier. They are going to be able to pick that one up, pushing power, 15% extra damage to towers and structures. Going to be going over to Nightblue's team right here, and that's still 2 compared to 0 in the dragon department. If I'm keeping count correctly, that means it's 11-0 for the whole series for Nightblue's team.
I'm just blown away, quite frankly, at how well these guys are playing and how they have consistently gotten both the Jarvan and the Lissandra. You know, Trick2g obviously very confident in his champion pool, can do a lot of works with this Jax pick, can do a lot of work with this Udyr pick, but you know, has to consistently give up these other very strong meta junglers. And when you're playing against someone like Zen the Soul King, who is so confident on Jarvan, it's pretty hard to give him that power pick and be successful in this game. His map movement is just so excellent and utilized so well as they move forward in this game. Curious to see. He'll probably never be able to win that 1v1 against RF Legendary, but the way he moves across the map, he might not ever need to, as he rarely puts himself in losing situations.
We'll have to see here. The Jarvan pickup did work last game, and now going up against something that deals a bit more damage and a bit more in your face compared to that Riven. Riven had an early game advantage, but unfortunately RF Legendary wasn't really able to hold on to it. All it took was Nightblue waiting around a brush to scare him away from some of that experience, and it gave them the Solo King a little bit of a lead here. Level 11 compared to level 10, the level 2 Cataclysm compared to only the level 1 Blade of the Exile, going to be very, very big if they were going for a solo trade, but then the Solo King kind of sniffs that something's up. 9JX is in the area. A ward over there. The tornado goes up, though. They are going to lock him down. In comes RF Legendary. Blade of the Exile has been popped. The sun goes up, and Zen the Solo King. Cataclysm comes out. A lot of damage here. The Monsoon comes out. They're healing up RF Legendary. Zen the Solo King flagged. He drags. The Zephyr goes out. A flash burn in. 9JX picks up the kill in that situation. Ooh, not done yet. Strumpus in the mid lane gets cut up by a frozen team, and Annie, lots of damage, but not a lot of health, goes down. Now Nightblue trying to get a kill on 9JX. In comes Trick. He's going to want to get the stun down. Nightblue wants it going down. A kill goes over to the jungle next. Zingy and Golden Blue over by the mid lane area. Without ultimates available, they're going to wind up backing away. But bottom lane, there's another fight here. Flash throw from Zervik. The ultimate coming out from Draven. Is it going to pick up a kill on Fabi? No, barely misses out from that one. So we had fights in almost every single lane all across the map. Though they go in favor of Trick's team.
So many stacks of adoration for Zervik here in the bot lane. Desperately wants that kill. Has to be careful here, though. Golden Blue is going to be able to quickly pick this one up with the help of a little bit of Ignite from Rengar. Zingy in the end going to get that kill over. So much upfront burst from Golden Blue. Golden Blue now running for his life.
Here comes ARP Legendary, getting the stun down to Zingy. A flash away from a Zingy. ARP Legendary going forward. The Valor, the flash of Zingy. Is he going to go down? One more hit. Ult's going to take from RF. Does miss out on the stun right there, but is he going to be able to pick up the kill with Broken Wings? He is. In the meantime, Strumpus got revenge onto Golden Blue as he came up from the base, caught out on Golden Blue. So kills answered for kills. All of a sudden, we find it 9 compared to 7. So Trick's team starting to catch up. The gold lead slowly closing. Only about 1,000 gold lead now from Nightblue compared to about the 2.5 that it was just a few minutes before those encounters went down. Trick in the mid lane here, getting a stun down onto Fabi, flashing forward, forcing him away. Double buff there for Trick. The team is going into the mid lane. They pick up another tower here. It's 3 towers compared to 2, and despite giving up the dragon objectives, Trick's team, they answer with a bunch of kills and towers, and the gold, just a couple hundred separating these two teams now.
Strumpus is playing very aggressive here. Looks like he might be able to take out Nightblue. Nightblue running for his life is going to go down, however. Strumpus now himself will go down to a Zingy and Fabi. Back and forth kills here. A total bloodbath. And overall, Trick2g slowly closing the distance here. You know, if he keeps playing like this, if he keeps making these smart map moves, and quite frankly, if Nightblue keeps playing so aggressive and getting caught out, this game could swing in Trick2g's favor. Obviously, still a little bit behind, about 1k now after that kill on the Strumpus. But overall, the game tied, very even, no clear advantage to either team, and once again, Nightblue's team so team fight focused and so lacking in defensive utility that they pretty much have no choice but to look for the full 5v5 engage.
Well, nuts on the Solo King, forcing ARP Legendary away once again, but he's going to run him into a Golden Glue. The Cataclysm goes off. ARP Legendary, now a Zingy comes in as well. Golden Glue able to pick up yet another kill here. 6, 1, and 2 on Lissandra, making up more than half of Team Nightblue's kills this game.
Golden Glue putting in a lot of work. Almost all the team's gold is on him. Hat, all the pressure's on him too now as a result. Has to be careful here. May end up going down to Strumpus.
No, the Frozen Tomb comes out. That wasn't used last time. So 2 ultimates and 2 kills picked up right there. Strumpus winds up going down in that situation. DFG Annie is 3, 5, and 1. He's able to put out a lot of damage, but really can't take a lot of the damage coming out from Nightblue's team either. 5 deaths, unfortunately, the most for his team right now, but still, all it's really going to take for Trick's team right here is if they get locked up in a Cataclysm, but they turn it around with 1 Anti-Stun, a Janna Monsoon to kind of knock everybody back after that, there's still a lot of fight potential over here, and this next Dragon coming up in about the next 45 seconds could be the place where Trick's team actually tries to take a fight against Nightblue's team. The big question mark is, are they going to contest this Dragon? Because they haven't all series.
Well, the other thing to look for here is this pick in the jungle going to work? They have to be careful here. They're immediately going to blow up Zervik and follow it up with probably another kill on ARP Legendary, doing so much AoE burst damage as Zingy coming through.
Ooh, Strumpus able to pick up a kill on Zen, the Solo King right there. Now trying to get the Disintegrate out, does not pick up a kill on a Zingy. Nightblue comes in over the wall. The kick lands, so does the Resonating Strike. Fabi's going to be able to pick up the kill on that one, though. 9JX comes in with a Howling Gale, trying to disengage from that one. It is a 2 kills to the price of 1 in favor of Nightblue's team, but now Trick is hunting a Zingy. The Hunter has become the hunted in this circumstance, but the rest of Nightblue's team is closing around. Trick decides to hightail it out of there, runs away towards the top side, is going to want to go in for the blue buff, while the rest of Nightblue's team, they're starting to focus down on this this bottom tier 1 tower, which kind of just needed to be breathed on in order to go down.
Absolutely fantastic map control from Nightblue's team as a whole. You can see, not now so much now that Trick2g's team has restored control over the bottom of the jungle, but previously they had perfect vision, able to get that pick. But, of course, RF Legendary getting stronger and stronger as the game moves forward on that Riven pick. All of her damage is going to be a small AoE, so when you stack up like that on her, if Nightblue hadn't kicked out or kicked RF Legendary out in that situation, that could have been the RF Legendary triple kill, and that's when you have to be careful. All it takes for Riven to become a dominant force and to become a hard carry for this team is going to be some sort of advantage, and a triple kill is a pretty quick way to get that. So smart warding, smart movement, but they have to be careful against how they play, or as to how they play against RF Legendary as the game moves forward.
Yeah, and a big problem factor here was the fact that Trick's team lost 2 members, only the one compared from Nightblue's team, and after they saw Trick run away from a Zingy, even though Zingy got dropped down extremely low, Trick went to go solo the blue buff, and at the same time, there was no smite from either jungler, but it was basically a 4v2 situation at the Dragon Pit, and that gave the 3rd Dragon stack over the Nightblue's team. It is 3-0 in Dragon stacks, and it means across the board in this series, it's 12-0. 12 Dragons that Nightblue's team have gone unanswered against Trick's team. They're just not being able to contest those Dragon objectives, and they're not really responding with as many towers as they were in the early game. Now, they've knocked down every single outer tower, and those inner towers are just so hard for a very melee-heavy focused team to kind of jump on here. The Jax, the Riven, yeah, they can split, maybe duel one person, but they're not itemized enough to really get into that situation where they can split push down multiple inner towers.
Yeah, the itemization is going to be really tough for them at this stage in the game. You can see Trick2g is opt for a little bit more tankiness and a Sightstone as well. That Sightstone giving him a lot of control over the map and definitely helping make up for pretty much the pure ward advantage that has been generated from Golden Glue and every other member on Nightblue's lineup buying pink wards and being very active in placing wards. So Trick2g solo going to be able to help that at least a little bit, but when you consider just how far behind Trick is as an individual because of that buy and how little damage he has in his current build, the only thing going for him as far as pushing towers is going to be this Sheen. Not enough, cannot push waves right now, pretty much no AoE, and you know, until he finishes that Triforce, he's not going to be able to do much of anything.
Well, we know that Jax needs some time to scale up into the later stages of the game, but right now, Trick2g 1, 1, and 2, not necessarily super far behind his counterpart in the jungle, but when you factor in the vision control, the map objectives, and just the overall global gold, Nightblue's still coming out ahead in the jungle department by about 650 gold, despite the scores being 1, 1, 2 compared to 1, 4, and 8 coming out from Nightblue, being able to help set up things for his team. Now it looks like his team is setting up in the enemy red side jungle. They're going to wind up trying to siege down this bottom tier 2 tower. I'm just waiting to try to catch somebody out in a rotation through the enemy jungle. At the same exact time, though, they could just wind up collapsing on this one. The Zingy's ultimate is available. Nightblue's in position to kick. Jarvan can go over the wall here. Lissandra can even wind up following up in that situation. The tower does wind up dropping extremely low. All of Trick's team is going to take that time to recall here. Nightblue's team might even have to engage to get this tower down.
They do have to be careful. They have to give Strompus at least a little bit of respect. DFG, and he's still going to be able to do a lot of work. But, of course, if Golden Glue can get the stun off first, as he always has, Strompus will have to be careful here. Zingy immediately going in.
Zingy goes in, the bolos go out, a Frozen Tomb seals the deal as Golden Glue picks up that kill. A lot of ultimates used in that one, though. 3 for the price of Annie's head in that circumstance, but that does mean they can continue pushing down on this bottom lane. RF Legendary is up top, does have his teleport available, but Zerbic is in the mid lane, which means that Nightblue's team, they pick up a kill, they pick up this tower pretty much just for a couple ultimates.
6k gold lead. What was once an even game is now greatly going in the favor of Nightblue squad. You can see the strength of this Rengar and this Lissandra. Rengar able to ult and give Lissandra all the sight she needs to follow up. Then, of course, is Zingy. Someone you have to respond to. Strompus maybe a bit too eager with his CC there. And, of course, as a result, not able to do any damage to Golden Glue and is picked up immediately. So, strong play overall. Zen the Soul King has to be careful here, though.
Yeah, RF Legendary, despite being a level behind, goes in on Zen the Soul King. Zingy is here as well, but RF Legendary has a kill in his sights. He picks up one. Is he going to be able to get out? The Valor Shield and the Jada Shield come out as well as Zingy support Rengar, but still being able to deal a decent amount of damage. RF Legendary is going to go down as Fabi rushes in right there, though. Flash is burned over the side here. 9JX has to burn his own flash. Nightblue gets the chilling smite down. Winds up doing a kick back into Fabi. Nightblue seals the deal. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike. Good night, 9JX. It's 2 kills for 1 as picked up there by Nightblue's team.
Once again, flashing mid kick animation. I believe he did that a couple times last night when he was allowed to play Lee Sin. Really surprising that this character is consistently let through from him. You can see he's 2, 4, and 9. Not the best scoreline, but when you consider how much work he's doing in these team fights and how easily he can chase down these high mobility picks like Janna, it's just such a powerful pick. And Nightblue doing so much work in these games, not normally known as the Lee Sin player, but clearly able to use the full power of that champion in these games.
Bottom lane, Trick was trying to push out that lane to the inner tier 2 tower on his jungle Jax. Didn't quite work out for him though, as once he realized that 2 of his members had died, he had to run away. Ultimate trade on the mid lane, and Strumpets with the DFG anti-burst wanted to take down GoldenGlue in that situation, despite being 2 levels down. A Ziggy unable to seal the deal right there on the support Rengar, and I was not expecting that outcome from that 1v1.
Support Rengar is blowing my mind. I just don't know what to think about this pick. You can see the Randuin's build is now coming out. He has yet to finish or upgrade his support item at all, but as he moves forward in that game, that Randuin's is going to be a huge factor, going to be able to leap into the enemy team and slow every single person, making for an easy follow-up from GoldenGlue and Zen the Solo King. So, you know, despite the early game weakness, now that they're out of laning phase, Zingy is basically just the equivalent of an underfed Rengar, so is still going to be able to engage whenever he wants to, and is looking really confident as this game moves forward. You see RF Legendary is going to burn the TP to try to contest this dragon, but meanwhile on the top lane, Zen the Solo King doesn't have to TP yet and is more than happy to trade this for a turret if need be.
Well, the teleport comes in, though. The Trick's team is going to get their first dragon of the series. 3 compared to 1 in this game, 12-1 across the whole series. The fight tries to start for the flashes go down. Our Legendary actually around the backside of the fight. Zervik and Strumpus getting jumped by the Cataclysms. Then the Solo King drops low, but so does Strumpus. He goes down. RF Legendary still on the backside, trying to run away. Nightblue's team, a full force of 5, is able to pick up a kill on him. They trade 2 for the 2 of their lives for the price of dragon in that situation. Trick's team are able to pick up their first of the game, but it's 2 kills from Nightblue's team. Where are they going to set their sights? Baron is available on the map. Top lane about to build up a whole wave in their favor. Mid lane has a bit of a wave as well, and it looks like it is going to be Baron Nashor where the sights of Nightblue's team fall.
Nightblue's team has to be careful here if they do decide to try to take this Baron. It looks like Zingy immediately going to get aggressive with it. He is floating around the outside. His smite not quite available, but will be shortly about the same time as Nightblue's in this situation. And, you know, this could be the big turning point of the game. Can they lock this in, or are they going to die?
Oh, he jumps in on the ward, but it's a little bit too late for the Baron steal, but can Trick pick up any kills? Members are low in there, but it is going to be Zen the Solo King pick up a kill. We did see 9JX going down to GoldenGlue just before that steal attempt as well. Now Strop is coming for the cleanup. The Timbers goes down, so does the Zingy. A double kill picked up on the Fabi. Nightblue kicks, he goes in, he picks up the kill right there, and he gets 2, but Nightblue gets 1. Zervik on the backside here. No kills on this Draven yet, but can he set his sights on 2 here? Lysandra goes in for the blue buff, still above half HP. Nightblue below half HP for himself. Looks like Draven's going to back away. The improved recalls get Nightblue's team out of there safe.
And Baron buff can be so powerful here. Denied from the AD carry and support will come in handy to Trick2g's team as a whole, but still not the situation they wanted at all. Nightblue's team picking up that Baron, making that call, and following through, doing an excellent job. You can see just how much work they're going to do. Interesting choice coming out from Zen the Solo King. He's opted to build 100% full AD. Even RF Legendary on Riven has not opted to go that path. You see the BF sword coming in really strong for him. Zen the Solo King, however, may get caught out here.
Well, Zen the Solo King gonna pick up a kill on a 1v3 again, and this time it was RF Legendary, Trick, and 9JX that he's able to pick up a kill and still escape on. Once again, the damage from that Jarvan, the AoE lifesteal coming out from Ravenous Hydra, keeping him alive in that situation. Strumpus now getting dumped on here. The Frozen 2 comes out from GoldenGlue. He picks up a kill. That tower just needs to be breathed on. Just hit the damn thing, GoldenGlue. Instead, he backs away. A Zingy, Nightblue, and some minions here with the Baron buff on are going to wind up, well, through the John shield, through the tower shield, taking this tower down for themselves.
And with those Baron empowered minions, they're also going to be able to take down this inhibitor tower if they so choose. A lot of the AoE engage coming into Trick2g's squad is gone right now. Trick himself going to try to jump into the back line.
He jumps in, gets a stun, but after that stun's there's no team to follow up, so Trick just goes down. Now it's an inhibitor tower being taken down for Nightblue's team. 5 of them still in this mid lane here. GoldenGlue almost dying to the Draven ulti right there. This spinning axes, that whirling death coming in, but it's not going to pick up a kill. Instead, the inhibitor goes down for Nightblue's team. 29.5 minutes into this game. Trick's team's putting up a better fight as far as the kills, the towers, and everything else are concerned, but Nightblue's team's still in control of this one.
They keep getting these 1v1 situations and blowing up every single member of Trick2g's team. You saw Strumpus not able to get off any of his cooldowns in that last fight, and somehow Zen the Solo King getting a kill in a 1v3 situation, then immediately just kind of disappearing and escaping with his life. So, you know, despite the fact that Nightblue's team may not be working quite as well as 5 in this game, They are so far ahead now from their smart team play earlier.
Like that.
They're just able to grab anything and everything they want. Full AD Jarvan, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the Infinity Edge coming out as the next item. You know, Riven is excellent and very tanky in those long-standing fights where she can shield herself multiple times, but in those short little instances, she still does not have enough resistances to survive the absurd amount of burst coming out from J4. J4's ult alone just going to do 700 damage, almost 800. More than 800 actually on its own, so just think about that. Catastrophic 800 damage on any member of the team, and meanwhile GoldenGlue more than happy to show off that he too has some burst damage on Strompus' face.
Yeah, that went completely different the last time it went down in the mid lane matchup. Strompus is the one that winds up biting a bullet in that circumstance. Jarvan winds up picking up a tower with the help of Fabi's Graze in the top lane. Trick with the disrespect in the bottom lane, trying to juke out Nightblue. He has 3 members of his own team there. The Trick trying to get the stun down does go down onto GoldenGlue, but all the wards and leaps in the world won't be able to get him out of that circumstance. GoldenGlue picks up his 12th kill of the game on Lissandra, and that's going to be the 4th death of the game for Trick on that jungle Jax.
As Trick2g, just the realization that Nightblue's team is just so very far ahead sets in on Trick. You know, so does despair, and he begins to wonder if he can actually get out in those situations, and instead of trying to run and trying to escape Nightblue on this Lee Sin, he spams a little bit of dance action and goes down like a champ.
Well, I guess everybody wanted a piece of the champ in that circumstance, so Jax winds up going down here. Unfortunately for Zerbic, this Draven pick hasn't really worked out for him either. 0, 2, and 4 has yet to be able to pick up a kill, has yet to be able to cash in any of those adoration stacks, just due to the fact that he's not gotten any, basically, down, he has 274 CS, but he's dying in certain circumstances as well. The stacks and the adoration, they're not as high as you would think them to be after not getting a kill all game. We see RF Legendary going down beforehand, Nightblue going all the way in here, gets knocked back by a Monsoon here, but Trick's in the front line getting taken down extremely low. Nightblue now trying to run away, runs into the tower, gets a kick on the Strompus, gets himself out of that one though, does get the shield down, but Draven finally picks up a kill for himself. The adoration stacks are cashed in finally. At the price of 2 kills on his teammates here. So that's going to wind up going down to Nightblue's team. They pick up his inhibitor tower. The bottom lane inhibitor goes down as well. Right now it is a 4v3 situation. And Nightblue's team, even though Fabi's kind of low, Zen the solo kick taking up some towers. They're looking to end it here. Trick just gets annihilated. His HP goes from 100 to 0 in no time here. Zingy now on the support Rengar, zoning out the remaining members of Trick's team. RF Legendary on the respawn, gets the flash, gets the stun, gets the wind slash, but nobody goes down. GoldenGlue with the perfect Zonya's Hourglass. The Howling Gale comes up from Janna. Now, RF Legendary tries to go in. He gets shut down by Jarvan. In comes Draven, though. He's able to pick up 1 kill. Can he get 2? It's a double kill for Draven. They're finally picking up kills on Trick's team, but it's in their own base.
Zerbic now finally able to cash out a couple of times, bringing back a lot of the gold disadvantage he had earlier. Catched up almost fully with Fabi at this stage in the game, and one thing I do want to note is that at the start of this game, we were absolutely blown away by this full AD Jarvan. And now it's just like a part of life. Like, Jarvan comes into a team fight, somebody dies, we don't even talk about it anymore because we're so used to seeing it, and that alone is a testament to how fantastically Zen the solo team is playing and how well this build is working for the team as a whole. You know, we thought they might need a tank, but right now it appears that they're just so powerful that they don't even worry about any tanky stats because their upfront burst damage is enough to kill anybody on the team.
There is currently 634 damage coming out every single time Jarvan Qs every 4.2 seconds. Oh, that's also reducing their armor by 26% for 3 seconds every time it hits them. Like you said, that ultimate is now dealing 930 damage. So full AD Jarvan. It's a thing. He's doing a lot of work in this game, but so is GoldenGlue. 13, 2, and 6 on this Lissandra.
Stomp is hiding in the bush, gonna try to fight a Zingy here. Nothing gonna come from it. Stomp is trying to play patient, knows that he does not want to blow all his cooldowns on the Zingy. The Zingy now ulting to give his team the vision that they need. Fabi more than eager to follow up. GoldenGlue trying to find a picture, and then the solo king.
Blows up Strompus. Fabi comes in, gets the remaining damage down onto RF Legendaries, and the Solo King prematurely typing GG in chat from that one for himself. 4 Dragon stacks on Nightblue's team. The Baron is available, but there's a respawn inhibitor in the mid lane that nobody on Trick's team can defend. That one's going to go down to Nightblue's team. Now a full force of 5 trying to push down to some Nexus towers. don't even going for the Baron buff for this one. The teleport coming up from Zen the Soul King gets stunned out here by Trick. Looks like a Frozen Tomb going down onto Zerbit coming up from Golden Glue. The Golden Glue dropping kind of low. One Nexus Tower has gone down for Nightblue's team though. Now it's Trick trying to fight Nightblue. Battle of the Captains in one space. A battle for survival in this one. But the Nexus Towers go down. Looks like Trick's gonna follow that one. He goes down. Zerbit picks up one kill though, but he immediately goes down to Jarvan. In comes Strampus. He picks up one, but the Nexus goes down. It's Nightblue's team taking the second 3-0 in the playoffs here of the Omen encounter. They're going to move on to face Voyboy's team in the finals tomorrow night. Another dominating performance by Nightblue's team.
Support Rengar.